Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right, I think we're ready to go. Welcome everyone to the February 4th meeting of the San Mateo County Parks and Recreation Commission. Janet, do you want to walk us through the kind of meeting logistics here by video conference still?
Of course, thank you. For those attending the meeting on the Zoom video conference, we will use the raised hand feature in order to organize any public comments. During the general public comment period, and for each item on the regular agenda, I will ask those members of the public who wish to comment to click the raised hand feature to raise your hand to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. Please note that members of the public must wait for my prompt in connection with each agenda item before using the raised hand function. For example, you cannot raise your hand at the beginning of the meeting for an item that is later in the meeting. Well, thank you so much.
Great, thank you for keeping us all moving during these difficult times. All right, so with our meeting here called to order, we'll turn to the agenda, and the first item is our Pledge of Allegiance. Do we have our flag? There it is, the flag slide. All right, we'll begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to
and
the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
and justice for all.
Thank you. Item 2 is our roll call.
One moment, please. Commissioner Green.
Present, and I'll just note for everyone, I apologize, I have an unavoidable conflict today and right in the middle of our meeting, so I will have to jump off and I'll come back as quickly as I can.
Commissioner Marilys.
Present.
Commissioner Okello.
Present.
Commissioner Laguna.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 3, public comment for items not on the agenda but related to the purview of the Parks Commission. And Janet, do you want to remind folks how to?
Sure. And I do see one hand raised for this item. So again, if you are calling via phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. I will first call on Carlisle and Young. Carlisle, please accept my invitation and unmute your mic and begin speaking.
Hi, thank you. I guess you have my name. I'm from Moss Beach, Carlisle and Young. Thank you, commissioners, for volunteering to serve on the San Mateo County Parks Commission. I realize this is not a paid position and that you each have many parks within your areas to report upon. Sorry. What I'm going to ask the Parks Department and the Commission today is that you, for your April meeting agenda, that you please agendize and schedule some time to discuss the Mid-Coast Park and Recreation Development Fees and Trust Fund that was set up following the 2002 Mid-Coast Needs Assessment, which was done when Rich Gordon was our county supervisor for this area. That report recommendations included a 62-acre parks and recreation system consisting of mini parks, neighborhood parks, a community recreation building, and a trail system of approximately 20 miles. The mitigation fees are assessed by the San Mateo County Building Department and then placed in trust. Fees may only be used for the acquisition and development of parks and not for routine or periodic maintenance. The collection of the fee began March 31st, 2003. The Planning and Building Department shall provide an annual report to the Board of Supervisors which specifies any amount fee due to automatic annual adjustments and the status of trust funds established to fund the cost of acquiring and development of park facilities associated with new development and the status of any improvement projects financed in full or in part by those funds. I have asked the County Parks Director for the county park budget, which was not attached to today's agenda, via email. I also requested the County Manager, Mike Callaghy, and the Director of Public Works, Mr. Porter, for the year-end annual report of the Mid-Coast Parks Trust Fund. which was supposed to be given to the Board of Supervisors at the end of the year. By your next meeting, I hope to have far more clear idea of how much money we have in the trust funds account, which is to be only used for the stated purpose. In other words, not for capital improvement projects in a county park that is for the use of other county residents beyond the Midcoast. Specifically, quote, it says fees collected from the development in the Midcoast area may only be used to acquire or develop parks to
Thank
be
you.
located in and
Thank
primarily
you.
use
that-
of Midcoast residents. The proportionate demand for which
Thank you. I'm gonna have to ask that,
Request-
we have, everybody has 2 minutes. I've got to cut you there, but thank you very much for that comment.
Okay,
And
I certainly hope you'll be able to put it on the agenda, so I'll have a little more time to address it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
thank you. And public comment is 2 minutes across the board. Thank you.
So
Anybody else, Janet?
I do see Fran Pollard. So Fran, please accept my invitation and begin speaking. Ms. Pollard, can you hear us? Ms. Pollard?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
sorry about that. I'm Fran Pollard, El Granada, and I just wanted to back up Ms. Carlisle on what she just said. I just found out about that also. The trust fund, I've been involved with this with Quarry Park since, go back, I've been here almost 50 years this year. And we have been working with the county. I have all these years. And I know that the trust fund was supposed to be for community parks. The county's supposed to be using that money to purchase park land for us and for the community center. And that's been going on since 2002. So it's almost 20 years. A lot of money has been accumulated, which we haven't heard anything about. We haven't gotten anything purchased. So I hope that, I think, our district needs to investigate, because I read where the county wants to spend it on helping the Harbor District, which is the next richest district next to the county. So they do not need the money. Our little district needs the money, and so do other mid-coast communities. So I hope we can resolve that, and that no money is spent other than helping our communities. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I don't see any more hands raised for this item.
Okay, thank you very much. With,
Actually, sorry.
oh, I see a William.
Yeah, I see a William also. So William, please accept my invitation and begin speaking.
Hello, my name is Bill Moore, and I live in Moss Beach, about 100 yards from the steps to the Seal Cove Beach, the beach associated with the Fitzgerald Marine Preserve. It's been closed since the day we moved in on March 12th. I've spoken to Mr. Calderon, and I've emailed Mr. Moresby, and I'm trying to get a quantifiable answer as to what it would take to open the beach. What tier, what data they need to see before the beach can be opened to the public. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, seeing no other hands raised in the participants, I will close public comment. Thank you all for your remarks. Oh, the agenda just closed on me. There we go. Item 4, installation of Jorge Laguna as the District 1 Parks Commissioner. Welcome. I will turn it over. Scott, are you going to be walking us through this?
No, actually, Commissioner, I'd like to introduce Supervisor Dave Pine, who is the supervisor for District 1, and Supervisor Pine will be swearing in Commissioner Laguna. So Supervisor, welcome, and I turn the floor over to you.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to join you. It's really my privilege today to swear into office Jorge Laguna. I know there's been a vacancy for some time, but it was worth taking a little time to find Jorge and select him for this position. I know he's going to do a great job. Jorge, as you may know, has previously served on the Parks Foundation. So he has a long record of already helping out the parks. And he's an avid user of the parks with his family. And his background in the high-tech community, I'm sure will be helpful as well. So Jorge, very excited that you'll be taking the seat. And if you're ready, we can go ahead and do the oath of office. All right, so if you'd raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jorge Laguna,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
discharge the duties with which I am supposed to enter.
Very good.
All right.
Congratulations. You're officially sworn into office.
Thank you. Hey, and if I could say a couple words, I am honored to have been chosen for the role, and I'm appreciative of Supervisor Pine and his staff for selecting me. I think there are a lot of really interesting projects and initiatives in front of the commission in the coming year, from things like fuel reduction to maintenance to improvement of our aging facilities, and as well as new projects. I think we're going to learn about a couple of them today, and I'm committed to doing my part to make our park system best in class and to really improve the quality of life for San Mateo County residents through our park. So really excited to join, and yeah, looking forward to getting to it.
Commissioner, thank you. And Commissioner, or all commissioners, maybe what we can do is briefly do an introduction. So Commissioner Laguna knows everyone, and maybe you can make a quick statement about some things that you would like to discuss and focus on this year as commissioners.
Sure, I'll go first. I'm Heather Green. I'm from District 2. This is, I think it's my third year starting now on the Parks Commission. On my first meeting, I was voluntold to be vice chair, and I've been chair this year. And this is the last meeting I'll be doing that. It's a great pleasure to be on the commission with everyone. And I think my priorities are making sure it's of course, we care about quality of life. I'm very interested in racial equity and access to our parks, and fuel reduction, public safety, and also how we can really activate the parks as public health goods, and bring as many people to them to take advantage of the amazing resources that we've got. I'll pick the next. Commissioner Okello.
Hello and welcome, Commissioner Laguna. My name is Maida Okello, and I represent District 4. This is actually my second term, which I'm in the process of trying to renew so I can do another term. And I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you. And I'm fascinated by the background that you have, and I'm particularly thrilled by the interests that you've expressed in parks in San Mateo County by being part of the Parks Foundation and so on and so forth. I'm certainly looking forward to working with you. In terms of the priorities that I'm certainly interested in, Certainly interested in Flood Park project and its eventual completion. Equally interested, like Commissioner Green, on issues around equity. We have some of the most beautiful parks, and they're being utilized. And I would really like all communities across the entire county, to take advantage of the resources that we do have. So anything that we can collectively do to ensure that happens, I would definitely like to see that happen. And so I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm looking forward to, joining you in, the various committees, that we do have. One thing that I would definitely like to see this year, and I've striven to try to get it done ever since I got on the commission, is that our commission has never presented to the Board of Supervisors. And that non-visibility, I think, to some extent hurts us. And so I'm hoping that soon, particularly this year, that we can go in front of the Board of Supervisors and tell them some of the work that we've done in the past year, and most certainly some of the plans that we have, for this upcoming year. So once again, welcome. And Supervisor Pine, thank you for selecting Jorge.
My pleasure.
Ready to go, Neil? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I got muted somehow.
It happens.
Neil Merrilees, I represent District 3, Don Horsley's district, which is the coast side. I live on the coast, Moss Beach. I was involved in local politics here on the Mid-Coast Council for a number of years, and I think I'm the longest serving Parks Commissioner now, which doesn't seem possible, but time flies. And so some of the things I'd like to work on in the next year are equity. I think that's a really important issue, making sure that our parks are used by everyone, and that everybody feels welcome. The other thing I'd like to work on is a reopening plan. We do have some parks that are closed and beaches that are closed, and it'd be nice to find out what the plan is for that, and maybe we can help guide that. The other issue that I'm really interested in is seeing if there's a desire on the part of local Ohlone people, if there's some kind of ongoing interaction with the Parks Department that we could foster. And I'd like to work with some more of the members on that issue. Other than that, I think it's going to be a great year, and the people are really using the parks more than they ever have because of the COVID crisis, and it's nice that we can be part of the solution. So thank you and welcome.
Thank you, everyone. Nicholas, any further remarks on this item from you? Besides general welcome, we're all excited.
Yeah, Commissioner Laguna, welcome, and look forward to working with you. This is going to be a really exciting year for Parks and the Parks Commission. We have a lot of great projects going on, and a lot of really important initiatives. So really excited to have you on the commission, and appreciate Supervisor Pine going through the effort to find us an awesome commissioner. So thank you.
Thank you. Nice to join. And I'm sure I speak for my colleagues in saying that you have an open invitation to come to the Board of Supervisors. All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care. Any public comments on this item? Oh, Scott, yeah.
I'd like to welcome you also, Commissioner Laguna, Scott Lombardi, Superintendent of Operations for Parks. Welcome aboard. Look forward to working with you. Fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Pine. Appreciate the nomination. Can't wait to meet you and start seeing how we can make things better for all of our communities.
Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is there any public comment on this item? Item 4, installation of Jorge Laguna as the District 1 Parks Commissioner.
For those joining by phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. And right now, I don't see anybody on the line that wants to speak on this item.
Well, you're universally beloved then. So welcome. With that, public comment on that item is closed. Item 5, action to set the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move we set the agenda.
And a second?
Go ahead and second.
Well done. All right, and Janet, we take a roll call, right, when we're virtual, so do you want to run us through?
Commissioner Green,
Aye.
Commissioner Marylees,
Aye.
Commissioner Okello,
Aye.
Chair Laguna.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Parks Foundation Executive Director's report. Do we have Michelle? And I'm sorry to miss this. I have to jump off now, but I'll come back as soon as I can. And so I'll hand over the meeting administration to Neil, our vice chair. Thank you very much.
Would this be Michelle Beasley?
Yes.
Okay, hold on just a moment.
Oh yeah, I see her little blue hand up. She's coming soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. Michelle Beasley, Executive Director of the San Mateo County Parks Foundation, and just want to say congratulations to Jorge for joining the Parks Commission, and glad to see you here. Just a couple quick updates. The Parks Foundation kicked off our second round of park ranger grants and also volunteer group grants at the end of 2020 and released that money last month. I just wanted to plug a couple of the groups that we supported and some of the projects. We've given some money to the Pacific Beach Coalition. They have their Streets to Beach cleanup campaign, which is a response to COVID-19, and they provide the supplies and the inspiration to encourage people to take care and clean up their streets. And we're also supporting San Bruno Mountain Watch. They are creating a digital archive, also in response to COVID, to bring all of their wonderful resources online so people can learn more about the mountain remotely. And then in terms of park ranger grant projects, two to highlight include a new weather station that's going in at the Coyote Point Marina. And we're also fixing a footbridge at Huddart Park. So we hope to grow these programs in the years ahead, and very excited to support these particular projects in addition to others. The foundation has also been very busy going after a bunch of grants to support the Edgewood Green Grasslands project. We're going in partnership with the Friends of Edgewood. And so very excited, and we'll keep you posted if we receive those grants later this spring. And then hopefully you have been seeing some of the regional responsible recreation ads that have been airing on TV. The San Mateo County Parks Department and the San Mateo County Parks Foundation are two of the sponsors for this regional campaign, just reminding people the rules of the trail and to plan their visit in advance. So that's something that the foundation is keen to support, is just communications in a time of COVID and other challenges. So that's just my quick update. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks.
Anybody have any questions? Anyone? My video went away. I don't know why.
No questions. My video also disappeared, so I think there's some weird connections we're having.
Okay, I'm back. You know what I look like anyway. I guess that's it, Michelle, if nobody has any questions.
Commissioner Marylees, I'd just like to take a minute just to thank Michelle. The foundation is an amazing partner for the department, and the way the department and the foundation are able to collaborate and brainstorm and execute is really something I think that is special, and it allows us to be effective. And Michelle, you know, it's funny, I often call her, or staff will call her and throw out ideas or pitch ideas, and she's always willing to hear us out, and she's always excited about it, and always has an open mind. And so we're really fortunate to have the foundation as a partner, and I think we're really fortunate to have Michelle as the executive director. So Michelle, as always, thank you so much for everything you do.
We enjoy it. We're happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. On to our regular agenda. Item 7.1, nomination and selection of commission officers for the 2021 calendar year. We need to nominate chair and vice chair. Do we have any nominations?
Through the chair, could we wait until Commissioner Green gets back?
I don't know if, I think she might not get back. Isn't that what we heard, Nicholas?
Yeah, it's unclear to me when she will be back and if she's able to be back for this meeting. I know she's given a presentation for work.
Okay.
Know how long that's gonna take.
Because I thought she gave the impression that she would try to make it back. So, so could we in the meantime make this the last item? In the hope that she does, and she doesn't, we'll go ahead and continue with it.
I think the challenge with that may be, I believe the agenda's been set. I would defer to council on how to proceed at this point.
I think you need to move forward with this item on the agenda in the order that it's in right now. I'm sorry. It's also, the bylaws also indicate that it's supposed to happen at the start of the meeting. I apologize, the start of the regular agenda in the meeting.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's go ahead with it. Well, I'd like to nominate Mary-Lise as chair of the commission.
Do we have any seconds?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
If I can just step in for a sec, I apologize. You don't need a second in order for nominations, but you are going to need a motion on the actual election. So normally the way this works is first the chair asks for nominations. People can nominate themselves. If there are no nominations, then you actually hold the election. It would be by majority vote of the commissioners present at the meeting. You would take a motion, you would see if there was any discussion, and then you would hold the vote. And then we'll do the same thing again for the vice chair.
Okay, do we have any motions? Does somebody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make the motion that Vice Chair Mary-Lise be the chair for the County Parks and Recreation Commission for the year 2021.
Okay, now do we have a second?
I will second.
Okay. All those in favor? Or do we have to take a roll call vote?
You do need to take all votes by roll call during these video conferences. And I think first, it doesn't sound to me like there's any discussion, but you might want to call for discussion before holding a vote.
Okay. Anybody want to discuss? Anybody have anything to say? In general, we've been doing this in a rotation. And I just kind of wanted to say that. So we kind of have a rotation. It'd be better for discussion if we had more people here, but we don't. Anyway, that's my discussion. Anybody else?
I think I'm ready to vote.
Okay, I guess we need a roll call.
Commissioner Laguna,
Aye.
Commissioner Mary-Lise,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Kello.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and next is nominations for vice chair.
Through the chair, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Laguna. It seems as if we've established a tradition, you know, that the new person that joins the board gets nominated as the vice chair. I think it may have happened to me as well, and so I think it's a good tradition to continue. So I'd like to nominate Commissioner Laguna as vice chair.
Okay, does anybody have any discussion? Anybody want to say anything? the only thing I'd say is that you don't have to, if you're not ready, if you'd like to wait another, you could defer it. It's really up to you, but yeah, you can certainly, it'd be great for you to take on next year if you feel ready.
No, I'm open to it. I'm open to whatever challenges come with the role, and I'm assuming I'll be able to learn a lot more about the commission that way as well. So
Yeah, and if I'm not there, you can take over. I feel like you could do it.
hey, with work, I mean, it's been these Zoom meetings have become pretty standard now. So yeah.
Okay, so I move that we vote on vice chair. Jorge
So
Laguna.
I'll make the motion that we select Commissioner Laguna as the vice chair of the San Mateo County Parks and Recreation Commission for the year 2021.
Okay, and I'll second.
Okay. Commissioner Laguna,
Aye.
Commissioner Marylees,
Aye.
Commissioner Okello.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome everybody, and let's get ready to do 7.2. We're going to make a recommendation to the Board of Supervisors about Tunitas Beach improvement project.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. So Jonathan, then also, would you be able to move Andy over, or Andrew Dawson, as he will be assisting with the presentation? Mario, will you be sharing your screen, or does Janet have it?
I'm sharing it.
There it is. Beautiful property, might I say. So today, the department will be presenting to the commission on the Tunitas Creek Beach Improvement Project, and the process that went forth to develop the preferred plan. The commission will recall that there was a special meeting on site. So you've been on site, you've seen the property and are somewhat familiar with it. And today we'll talk about the project that was, or the amenities that were selected to make the to make this property a county park, and how we're going to best serve the public, protect the resources, and offer what will be truly a unique experience. And so with that, we'll be hearing from three people. First will be Mario Nastari, Ranger 4 for the department and project manager from the department on this. We'll be hearing from Taylor Jang from Post, and we will be hearing from Andrew Dawson from the consulting team who was selected to run this project. And before we start, I do just want to say that this has been really a special opportunity to work on this project and for the department to be a part of it, to convert a property that was previously privately owned into the newest coastal access and recreation site in the county. This opportunity doesn't come up often, and so we were very fortunate to have a great partner in Post and the State Coastal Conservancy when the time came to seize this opportunity. So really fortunate for the great partners we have, really fortunate for the project team that's worked on this, and really excited to share it with you today. So Mario, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you, Nick. So commissioners, good afternoon. And this is Tunitas Creek Beach Improvement. This is the preferred design plan. Hope you enjoy it. I'd like to take you through the existing site, how it is. We'll definitely point out some of the opportunities and constraints that we're faced with and looking to work around. Some of the community objectives, what we heard, our public outreach process, and then I'll be turning it over to Andrew Dawson with our consulting team to take you through the actual recommended design. So Tunitas Creek, if you're not familiar, sits on the coast. This is a beautiful image. You'll see it just north of Highway 84 and south of Half Moon Bay proper. An aerial of the existing site shows the the site's framed by the Pacific Ocean at the bottom of your screen. To the west, top of your screen is Highway 1. Just below Highway 1, you'll see the Bluff Top, and that's within the Caltrans right of way along State Route 1. That's where folks are currently parking to access the site. So we're happy to
The
to
screen
show you some-
sharing has not come through, so I have a blank screen.
Oh. Commissioners, anyone else having that problem?
I can see it. Okay.
I can see it okay too.
Yeah, it's just saying I started screen sharing, and I don't see anything on my screen. But you can go ahead. Hopefully, it's a problem on my end, and it's going to resolve itself.
Okay, I hope so. Sorry, the site also has an existing single family house that we'll get into a little bit more detail with, but ultimately it can't be salvaged, so we'll need to be removed from the site, making way for some visitor serving amenities. Another aerial. These are the next couple of slides are going to be some context photos just to help set the stage and get your eyes on what the site currently looks like. So another aerial photo looking north along State Route 1. This is the current driveway into the site. The road alignment will remain through this preferred design plan, and that road will continue to serve for authorized vehicles. So our Parks Department vehicles, as well as partnering agencies and any emergency response that needs to access the site. This is the single family dwelling sitting on right on the bluffs there. Beautiful location. Unfortunately, the building's in a state of disrepair and the foundation as well. So that building will need to be removed from the site. And there's your iconic postcard of Tanitas Creek Beach. This includes the Tanitas Creek at the bottom of your screen. If you look at the banks of the creek, you'll see quite a bit of ice plant, non-native plant. So plenty of opportunity for some good habitat restoration. Just beyond the ice plant is the western snowy plover habitat. So a protected species that we're looking to make better habitat for on the site. Again, this is the beach looking south. Plenty of ice plant and plenty of beach for folks to enjoy. So early on in the project, we developed a community advisory committee, and they identified these 4 core values that have stuck with us through the design phase and carrying us into what we're calling the preferred plan. And those are environmental protection, equity and inclusion, education and awareness, and outdoor experiences. We've been calling them the 4 E's, is how we refer to them, and just making sure that those play a role in basically every aspect of this project. So this map shows some of those key site constraints. You know, it's a beautiful property, but definitely has some issues that need some good thinking to work with and around. Those include the arrows called out show the direction of active landslides on the site. The orange areas, if you can see them, are eroding cliffs. The eroding cliffs are tied to landslides, both active and dormant and ancient, as well as some degradation due to social trails going down those bluffs. We're also obviously right on the Pacific Ocean, so taking sea level rise and storm surge events into account as well. So now moving into our public process, we had a couple of different phases. We started with a general online survey that we put out. Really wanted to get a feel for high level, who was aware of the site, how many folks were aware of it, how many people had been to it, how folks would like to use it, how folks access the site, both once they get there and how they actually arrive, whether it be by car, by bicycle, or some other way, rideshare. And that was, again, just to get like a really, really high level look at who was interested. The next round of engagement came when we developed 3 design alternatives. low development, medium development, and then a full build out of the site to see what could potentially be built inside it on Tenitas Creek Beach. Overwhelmingly, we saw the public who responded to that round of engagement preferred a light touch on development while providing increased access. So it was a balance that we were tasked with. The next phase was refined alternatives. And so what we did was we took, hearing the public, we took that full build out off the table because it received such little support and frankly wasn't quite in line with the department's goals either. So we pulled that one. We developed a baseline design for the park, kind of bare bones amenities for what we heard. We also added what we called the additional features, which were features in both the mid-level and higher level development scenarios that received positive support in that prior round of engagement. Those amenities included increased access, pedestrian access into the mid-bluff of the site, some additional overlooks and rest stops along trails and pathways, a nature boardwalk to get a better look at that plover habitat closer to the beach, and probably another one that I'm missing that we'll cover in the preferred plan. Finally, that third phase of public outreach was the preferred plan presentation, which took place on, well, we posted the preferred plan in December 2020 and then presented at a public meeting in January, late January 2021. So just a visual on some of the responses that we heard. Like I said, overwhelmingly, we heard that folks wanted to increase access. They wanted to have a tranquil beach visit, and they wanted the site to keep its natural character. It was something I probably should have mentioned was, during that first round of engagement, we did what we thought was right, but we saw when we got our data back that we had missed some demographics. We really missed on the youth in San Mateo County, and we missed on Spanish language surveys. So we went back to our community partners and we actually hosted a Spanish virtual meeting with co-hosted with Coron, and received it was a wonderful meeting. Got some really cool feedback, and our Spanish language responses. I think we saw over 150 coming over that second round of engagement. Our interpretive program also took this information into the classroom, so we saw quite a big boost in youth engagement too, which is awesome because at the end of the day, this is going to be their part. So hearing the overwhelming call for a lighter touch on development while still providing access for folks of all abilities to come out to the site, we decided to site the higher levels of development higher up on the bluffs. Lower development down at the mid bluff, you'll see a lot of opportunities for passive recreation, and then very minimal development down on the bluff and no development on the beach. So aside from the public feedback, some factors that definitely came into play with this preferred plan were the feasibility and cost for implementing and opening these improvements, the time needed to construct, and impacts to user experience. And now if Andy's on, I'd like to turn the remainder over to Andrew Dawson with WRT.
Hey, Mario. Yep, I'm here. Thank you for the intro. And thanks to everybody and the commissioners for hearing us this evening. I want to present our preferred conceptual design, which I'm really excited about and really proud of the work that's happened with the team and with the project stakeholders. It's been a really fun and enjoyable project, and we're looking forward to the next steps here. Just to orient you to the plan here, this is the same alignment that Mario was showing of the existing site aerial earlier. north is to the left. Highway 1 brackets the top of the page. The Pacific Ocean is there at the bottom of the page. The Tanitas Creek runs along the northern edge of the property. And on the right side of your screen, or the south side, you'll see indicated there a natural loop trail with rest stops and overlook kind of anchoring the southern edge of the property. Another orientation device, just back up 1 second, Mario. I just want to point out, just for some terminology's sake, what we refer to as the top bluff. You can see in the middle of your screen at the along Highway 1, and then also the mid bluff, kind of midway down the bluff, finally the beach along the bottom of the screen. Okay, so now let's zoom in a little bit. This is the parking condition, which is essentially trying to vastly improve the safety and accommodation for vehicles up here on the top of the bluff, while being careful not to encroach too far on those sensitive slopes that we have. So you can see a number of distinct parking bays here. There's a entry and exit on the left of your screen with a drop-off area, followed by a parking bay, a second parking bay with ADA parking stalls, an area for overflow parking or potential paratransit parking, a turnaround loop in case you make your first pass through the lot and can't find a spot, you have a chance to turn around and go back and try again, but also an exit there onto Highway 1. This was cited in particular, given the Caltrans constraints on sight distance, speeds as people are coming around the corner and down the hill here on Highway 1. So we ended up with just an exit at this location. To the south of that then is a potential future expansion lot, potentially a place for buses to park while kids are here for field trips, those other types of uses. We found that, on its busiest days, we can expect upwards of 60 vehicles out here. And so, this image here is showing that middle parking bay, the ADA stalls, and the overlook point, which is trying to capture the kind of the primary view out here on the site, taking advantage of not only looking out over the ocean, but the dramatic cliffs just to the north of the property. As you make your way down from the top of the bluff towards the mid bluff, Mario pointed out the existing service road. That's going to remain in place for rangers and emergency vehicles only. We're going to try to control the access to that driveway at the top of the bluff with a bollard system and encourage most users to take this winding pathway, pedestrian pathway, down the slope. This is designed to be ADA accessible, so you can see it's quite a long way, sloping its way down very gently. There are a couple of rest stops intended along the way that provide some pretty dramatic views to the south. And this, this arrives you eventually down at the mid bluff here, which I think is our next image. This is a bird's eye view. It's the previous image you saw where the existing residence is, and understanding that that home is in disrepair and is going to be demolished, presented an opportunity for this project to take advantage of a part of the site that's already significantly disturbed and to locate some of the more intensive program and amenities at that same location so that we limit impacts to other areas of the site. I'll point out the tiered seating space, number 3 there, that's envisioned as a type of overlook amphitheater, a place for interpretive events with rangers or field trips. There's a picnic area with picnic tables. There's a grove that's intended to have interpretive educational panels that speak to the many layers of history out here on the site. We know peoples have inhabited the site for thousands of years. Eventually there was a significant logging operations. There was a train intended to come through here. There's a lot of layers of history that we want to make sure that we showcase and share. The cubes that you see there, 7 and 8, are really just placeholder buildings, but those will be prefabricated structures. That's a ranger station, a maintenance storage area, and the public restroom, which we know to be important for people going to the beach. Number 10 at the bottom of the screen indicates that access that will use the existing emergency vehicle route down to the beach. This kind of spins you around 180 now, as if you're standing on the pathway heading down to the mid-bluff, and just shows you the kind of views that we might expect from some of these features. Finally, here on the south side of the site, this is the loop trail that I previously mentioned. This view is looking south, really dramatic kind of bluff point here. You can see the full loop trail in that key map in the bottom right of the screen. We think this provides a really unique and exciting experience beyond the user that may arrive and just walk down to the mid-bluff. We understand there'll be folks that are looking for a little bit more of an adventure. This loop trail, could take up to an hour. We imagine it to be pretty primitive. It's pretty steep, so there's likely to be some areas to rest, some benches along the way. But we're trying to accommodate for, those folks that we understand are just cruising up Highway 1. They might pull over briefly, taking the views from the overlook point. There could be families that want to come here and go for a hike around this full loop trail. There could be people that just want to, spend half the day down at the mid-bluff for a picnic. So we're aiming for the right level of development that is able to accommodate all those various user groups. This is just to give a picture of how we see the project moving forward from this point. We are presenting to the Board of Supervisors later this month. The environmental document is kicking off this spring to make sure we're meeting the requirements of CEQA. We would be then completing the final design, going through the necessary permitting, and really looking forward to continuing our engagement and outreach with the community. Ideally, we're hoping for a fall event that could be in person, that could be on the site, that's really meant to be celebratory, meant to bring everyone together and get excited about this project going into construction. Bidding award through the winter, commencing construction in the spring. And you can see ideally a spring 23 park opening. And I do want to take a chance to introduce Taylor, if he's on, from one of our project partners, the Peninsula Open Space Trust. I don't know if he's been enabled to have a speaking role yet, but I know we wanted him just to be able to say a few words.
Thanks, Andy. Can you hear me?
Hey, Taylor, yep.
Great. Well, good afternoon, commissioners, and it's good to see some familiar faces as well as some new ones. And thanks, Nicholas, for reminding us that we were out on a special meeting on the beach itself. It feels like another lifetime ago. But I've been involved with this project through posts at our kind of early acquisition days in 2017. So just wanted to take this opportunity with kind of the significant milestone here to share our staff and our community's excitement for this project, and as well our deep appreciation for the Parks Department and their leadership during this challenging year. Between wildfires and exploding park usage and COVID, it's been quite the backdrop for undertaking a park planning project. But we're all really, really excited with the designs that we've got here and really looking forward to, as Andy mentioned, getting out on the property for kind of a celebratory moment when it's safe to do so. So yeah, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you and to share our excitement.
Thanks, Taylor. I think we pass it to Nicholas.
Andy, appreciate it. I think the last thing I'd say is wanted to just once again thank everyone for their work on this project. Thank the public for your participation on this project during a pandemic year with wildfires, asking people to take time to participate in this process was something we weren't sure how that was going to be received, but the public showed up in very large numbers to help make sure that this new park is reflective of the experience they want to have. Excuse me. The last thing I want to say before I turn it over to the commission is one of the great things about this property, and it's really what I'm most excited about, beside for all the restoration work and the management we can do to protect the resources, is that experience you can have here. And it talks about it briefly in the memo, but if you want to take in the views, you can do so from the parking lot and the overlook and have a unique experience without having to hike down to the mid bluff or the beach. And if you want to have a picnic without the traffic of Highway 1 and without the crowds of the beach, you can do so on that mid bluff. If you want to go down and enjoy what is one of the most beautiful beaches I have ever been on, you can do that as well. And so by breaking the property into these three levels, the upper bluff, the mid bluff, and the beach level, we truly are providing an experience unlike anything you will have in San Mateo County. And by creating that experience, we're also able to manage the sensitive resources in a way that I think is going to be beneficial for the long-term health of the property. So really just an amazing project, and just can't thank everyone enough for their time and their effort. And with that said, would love to hand it over to the commission, Chair Mirrlees, and answer any questions that you may have. The project team is available.
Great, thank you, Nicholas. Do we want to open it up to public comment? Do we have any public hands raised? Anybody want to say anything before the commission speaks?
I do see 2 hands raised for this item.
Okay,
First, I will call on Carlisle and Young. Carlisle, please accept this request and begin speaking when you're ready. Carlisle?
You can hear me now, right? I don't know why it said the host had muted me again. I thought I hit unmute. You can hear me though, right?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say I did participate in one of the Zoom public input meetings, and I'm really excited about this park. It's beautiful, and I know we lost some cherished parks during the fire, so this is kind of nice that there's some additional parks coming. I definitely have a little bit of a problem, or concern, I should say, about the traffic, because if Neil can tell you, we have gridlock on the coast almost every single weekend because of visitors. And if you have 60 parking spots, that's gonna, add to the overall traffic. There's a San Mateo County just put out the Mid-Coast, Connect the Coast site, or the Comprehensive Traffic Management Plan report that they've worked on several years over time. And now this is the most recent one they're putting out. I don't know if you guys contacted them or if that was part of the planning process, but we do have a lot of visitors, and it's abundantly clear on the weekends because most of the coastsiders buy groceries on Friday and don't come out into the real world again till Monday morning. So that's just the only thing I really want to say. I'm so looking forward to going to this once it's finished, and even maybe participating in the restoration, because I remember when they were having all the raves down there, and it was really quite a problem for the sheriff's department. So thank you very much. And Nicholas, it's looking beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you. We have another speaker.
Thanks. I will now call on Sam. Sam, please accept this invitation and begin speaking. Go ahead.
ended up on the public.
I figured, I wasn't sure. I'll go ahead and move you over now. I'll go ahead and move you over now. Hold on just a moment. Okay, with that, I now have Chris Johnson. Chris, please accept this invitation and begin speaking.
Okay, there we go. Got it. Everybody can hear me okay? Yes? Okay, great. Thank you very much. Incredible concept, really. It's breathtaking, I feel personally, and I really like the three-tiered management approach. I really think that does help with management, and also, in my opinion, protection of, each level is a little bit more difficult to get to, and that protects the most sensitive area down on the beach. And I just think that's a really advanced concept to bring into this, not to mention the tiers of viewing are just amazing. I love history. And so I see that you're going to have interpretive panels, which are fantastic, especially with the view there. It reminds me of the Devil's Slide Park, where there's that kind of panoramic view where you can look north and south and you can see Farallones, Point Reyes, all these things with panels that point those out. So I'm thinking interpretive panels like that, but also the history, because from the moment I moved here, the most incredible thing I've ever seen is the only drawings I've seen of it. There used to be some massive pier or wooden structure that jutted out from that point that you can see from the postcard view that we saw earlier, out so that ships could load and unload there. It looked like a huge roller coaster or something, just a ton of wooden beams and slats. I would love to have an interpretive plaque that explains that with maybe a drawing or a picture of it or something, because that thing is so incredible. It's like, did that even really exist? It's like the Colossus of Rhodes or something, like something from history that I'm not quite sure I believe it was ever there. Anyways, fantastic. Really looking forward to it. Parks Commission, Nicholas, fantastic job. Please make this thing happen. Really can't wait. Also, the only other question is, where are all the stands for the rave lights going to go? We got to have those flashing, pulsing lights. Where are those going to be? No, just kidding. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. I do not see any more hands raised for this item.
Okay, then back to the commissioners. Would the commissioners like to say anything? Jorge?
This is Maida. It's really unfortunate I could not see the visuals here. I feel, sort of disadvantaged, but I think from the description,
Commissioner Okello appears to be muted, but Commissioner, we can send you the PowerPoint so you can see the designs.
Yeah, so can you have the designs uploaded on the website? Because I can get them from there as well.
They're on the website. Yes, sir.
They're on the website, so I'll check them. I'll check them out there. And I'm glad there was a recognition that the youth were not as involved as may have been wanted, and that the Spanish-speaking community as well. And I really like the fact that there's some additional efforts were made to make sure that input happened. And so, but that leads me to this question. The community engagement process, how many people total were involved? And who are they? Has somebody done some analysis as to who those people are? What parts of the county, they probably came from, and just information that would lead the commission to believe that, there was either a countywide or a very wide engagement on the part of the community. And one final question. I do remember having a meeting there, obviously, and I remember when we went down to the beach, you know, there was a group of folk that apparently had accessed the beach from some other location. And so in terms of restriction of access, are those other locations going to get sealed so that, you know, you can sort of control how people get to the beach, or how people get to take advantage of this three-tiered, part of the whole facility?
Yeah, Commissioner, Ranger Nastari, would you be able to pull up the slide that shows the community engagement process with the data points, please?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Absolutely. But Commissioner Okello, I believe there were approximately 1,300 surveys completed for this project, which is absolutely remarkable. When you look at the type of engagement we get on our projects, 1,300 is I apologize, nearly 900 responses. I'm not sure where I got 13.
Nick, if I can interrupt really quickly, 1,300 includes the general surveys as well.
Understood. Thank you, Ranger Nastari. So 1,300 surveys were completed, and the videos that we created were viewed over 2,100 times. So a lot of engagement went into this project. And when you look at the chart on the top right, you will see that while a majority of respondents came from the county, we had people as far as out of the state responding to the surveys. So, and almost a quarter of the respondents came from Santa Clara County. So we really feel as though we did a good job going out to the public, going above and beyond. And when dealing with a coastal property, it's always important to remember that this is a San Mateo County park, but the California coast serves more than the residents who reside in that county. So our parks and most certainly our coastside serves more than San Mateo County residents. We serve residents from everywhere, including outside the state and outside of the country. So, so I think we did a very, very good job engaging with the public on this.
Great. What about the question of that additional access to the, to the beach and
yeah, Commissioner. So the when we get the park up and running, the preference will be that everyone uses the offered and improved access points, which include both the access path from the parking lot and the loop trail. These routes are going to be made safer for access. They're going to be more environmentally sustainable. And along the way, you're going to have access to other types of amenities, such as restrooms, picnic tables, and overlooks. So what we plan on doing is exchanging current access points for the new access points so that we can conduct necessary restoration along the existing access points.
Okay. Thank you.
Commissioner Laguna.
Yeah, so I guess a couple of things. So first of all, I think those plans are spectacular, right? I mean, I saw the stuff in the packet. The stuff that you guys had just gone through is just amazing, and definitely looking forward to seeing it come through. The one question that I had was about the Western Snowy Plover Protection Zone. So I got the point about there's going to be a boardwalk for viewing and those kinds of things. What other kind of, gating, or is it just going to be signage that will kind of either restrict or help to kind of keep that zone? Because it feels like it's just kind of like right at the edge of right as you enter the beach area.
Yeah, so there's going to be a form of barricade.
Okay.
And we use that. I'll use that word loosely because what it actually looks like is still to be determined. So when creating this protection zone, one of the more popular and frankly effective techniques is you use a very light, you use a very light string to serve as a like a fence. The reason for that is it prevents predatory birds from using it as like a perch. So there are different factors that we need to consider, but there will be an actual physical barrier of some sort that is environmentally friendly, that is aesthetically pleasing, and that protects the plovers and their habitat.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Sam, it looks like you're here. So would you like to comment?
Thank you, Chair, and it's been a great. I've been here the whole time. It just, I guess I couldn't link, or the host had to somehow drive me, pick me up off, the Gilligan's Island. I was shipwrecked, and somehow she had to rescue me to the Commissioners Forum. I'm never going to make it as a comedian, but I can't agree more with what our chair of the Parks, Nick Calderon, said. It was only maybe a year and a half ago where we all met at Tanitas, and it was a big turnout with a lot of contributors and a lot of project workers, and the great work of our Superintendent Scott, and that feeling was great. Now, I don't know when we're going to get that feeling back again, but Neil, you live sort of coastside, you're right there, and for me, it's about 15 to 20 minutes to get there, but I miss those days, and I think as a county, I can say for me, I'm waiting for phase number 2 of vaccination, as I took the first vaccine. And we're hoping that we could, in a couple months, maybe we might be able to go on the beach next time. Who knows? I mean, can you shed some light on that, Director Calderon?
I'm not sure if we can. I think vaccines is slightly out of the purview of the agenda item, so I'm not sure how I can respond to that, but I don't actually have a whole lot of information on vaccine distribution that would help inform the conversation. I apologize for that, Commissioner.
No, it wasn't more or less. No, I'm saying I got vaccinated and I'm awaiting shot number 2. I'm just saying that we as a county are steering in the right direction to get some normalcy back to where we can meet up at Tanitas Park. It was only, 18 months ago where we all met and had an amazing time with a lot of great people.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know when that time is, but I am waiting in anticipation for us to be able to get together in person again, and most certainly out at Tanitas. It's a property that I know I speak for the entire department when I say we can't wait to get this open to the public, and we can't wait to host another special meeting out there for the commission.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't want to take up too much time here, but I just want to say what a great project this is and how difficult it is to balance resource protection and public access and parking and trails and all that. And I think this project has just done a perfect job. But I can't wait. I can't wait to get back there and have another meeting remotely. I think that was really fun. Yeah, I think that'd be great if we could do that, but looks like that may not be in the cards for a little while. Just wanted to do one quick little shout out to Post, who made this possible. We're so lucky, San Mateo County, that we have all this preserved land. That beach could be condos and country clubs if it were in Southern California. And because Post jumps in and buys this property and makes it possible for the county to take it over is magic. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Post. So with that, I think we can move on to the next item. We can vote on this, Nicholas. Do we?
Yeah, Commissioner Merrilies, we'd love to get a vote. Excuse me. We'd love to get a vote from the commission recommending to the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors to approve the Tunitas Creek Beach Improvement Project's preferred concept design and to direct the department to proceed with the preparation of detailed project plans, specifications, and estimates, and California Environmental Quality Act review.
Do we have a motion to approve the Tunitas Creek Beach Improvement Project?
Yeah, that's quite a mouthful, Director Calderon, but I'll say, okay, let that be the motion that we recommend to the Board of Supervisors that we approve and we take whatever next steps forward that we need to take to make this project possible.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, can we take a vote?
Commissioner Laguna,
Aye.
Commissioner Okello,
Aye.
Commissioner Mene,
Aye.
Vice Chair Merrily, or Chair Merrily, sorry.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. So I guess we move on to 7.3, which are our next great project, the pump track.
Perfect. Janice, would you be able to share the presentation? I always mess this part up. Thank you. So thank you. You've heard in the past of the Quarry Park Pump Track project, and we are making great ground on this. And for commissioners who are members of the audience who may not be familiar, there's what I think is a great definition of what a pump track is on the screen. But in short, a pump track is a circuit of features that can be ridden on a bike without having to necessarily pedal, instead through a fluid motion of pumping your bike. And it's a great feature that builds technical riding abilities, and when properly designed and built, it's a really fun community asset and family friendly feature. Next slide, please. So the idea of a pump track at Quarry Park first came up during development of the Quarry. Wait, back one. Wait, Janet, one more. There we go. Thank you. So the idea of a pump track at Quarry Park first came up during the Quarry Park Master Plan. And when you look back and you talk about, and when you look back and you review the notes and the data from the development process and the public process for Quarry Park Master Plan, what you'll see is that a pump track was the #1 facility and amenity most desired by the public for Quarry Park. And that's what got this the process and the idea of a pump track going. Janet, next slide, please. The pump track itself, or the master plan itself, has been in the process for about 4 years now. And because it was not moving as quickly as some in the public had hoped, there was what we refer to as an unauthorized pump track built at Quarry Park. And that's what you see before you today. And this was built by several members of the community. And as you can see, it cuts through a eucalyptus grove, and it wasn't built the way the department would build a project. And it wasn't necessarily, and it wasn't built with public permission. So we had to restrict public access to it. But after a Mid-Coast Community Council meeting that had over 100 people at it, the department decided what we would do is we would say, you can't use the pump track that was built without permission, but we will build you one, and we will build you a bike facility. And the public has been really great about that to date. Next slide, Janet. And so the first step was identifying a location for the pump track, and the location on your map shown in red, or on the image shown in red right here, is the meadow at Quarry Park. And this area was identified in the master plan as a great location for a new amenity. And when the department met with several members of the community, both the department and the members of the community identified this location as a great location for it. It's relatively flat, which means minimal site preparation is required, which means we're not spending unnecessary money to prepare the site. There's no trees currently in the area where the track would go. There are no sensitive resources. It's non-native grasslands, and it's easily accessed by the parking lot, and it's near the playground and other features. So it's easily accessible. The department can properly maintain it, and it serves, because of its location, as a great family-friendly location for the amenity. Next slide, please. So on November 4th, we held our first virtual community workshop, and this was really a collaboration between our consultants, Gates and Associates, and their sub Wombat, and the Coastside Mountain Bikers and Granada Community Service District. And this was really something that the community was getting behind and is fully supportive of. And so next slide, please. And so during that workshop, what we discussed was the department's needs and the department's objectives. And first and foremost, what we wanted was a family-friendly space. We wanted something that, maybe a teenager who's been riding for a long time can use, someone who's, maybe in their 30s or 40s would be able to ride, but more importantly, someone could bring their little kid to and teach their kid how to ride a bike. And for us, it's really important that this facility serves as a community asset and a family-friendly asset. And so that was the first and most important objective that we set for this project. Next slide, please. And when Superintendent Lombardi and myself were looking around at other pump tracks in the area, what we saw as an idea that we really liked was this, not just the pump track itself, but this smaller track for beginners and this perimeter skills trail. We actually saw it up at Marin, and it really grabbed our attention. And we thought this is a great feature. And so instead, the project did grow a little bit from building one pump track to building a facility or a feature, an amenity that serves the needs of the Midcoast community and will be primarily used by Midcoast residents. And so when you look, what we said was that the final project was going to have 3 features. It's going to have a beginner pump track, an intermediate and more advanced pump track, and this perimeter skills trail. And the skills trail is designed to be ridden at slower speeds, and it helps you build your technical capabilities and maneuverability and balance. And this was something that we thought was really important if we were going to have a true family-friendly and fun facility. And then the beginner track is something that will be available for kids on striders or beginner riders who aren't yet comfortable with riding that intermediate track. And so what we really were looking at is, what does that intermediate track look like? Next slide, please. And so through a project advisory committee, which included members of the community, a representative of the Midcoast Community Council, a director from the Granada Community Services District Board, members of the Coastside Mountain Bikers and the department, got together and came up with these 3 alternatives. And you can see how each of the tracks are a little bit different. The red star or asterisk shows you where the starting point would be. And then you can see the direction in which people would ride the track. And each track offers a unique experience and a little bit different ride quality and experience. And so we brought this out to the public during the workshop, and we asked them, which do you like? And then on top of surveying meeting participants, we also opened it up to the general public who wasn't able to participate in the workshop. And we put the survey online, and we asked everyone, we said, what are your thoughts on this? Next slide, please. And what 64% preferred what's referred to as a Flying X pump track. And I've been working with communities for a very long time. I've been working with this community for a very long time. I've never seen 64% support on something like, on anything. And for it to come, this was really awesome. And what it means is that there's a lot of the public behind this project. There's a lot of public in support of this Flying X pump track. And so next slide, please. And so this is what we landed on for our preferred design. You can see the Flying X pump track there. You'll see the skills trail in the perimeter, the beginner track. We have a series of picnic tables that will be along the edge of it, and then it's going to be enclosed in a fence. So cyclists will use that existing trail to access it, and there'll be a fence around it, keeping everything. And we'll have a bike fix-it station, and it's really going to be just an awesome experience for the users, and it's really going to be an amazing amenity for the mid community. What I also think we were able to accomplish here is you've heard me talk about a lot tonight, and what we were telling the community is important to us, and that is that family-friendly experience. When I was at the Mid-Coast Community Council, I think in January of 2020, when we first started having these conversations, I had parents telling me how important this pump track is. I had youth telling me how important this pump track is. I had very, very small young kids telling me how important it is. I still remember there was an individual, and she worked on the project advisory committee, but talking about how this was helping people learn how to ride their bikes, and that's what we want. I mean, I get excited about this stuff because this is what we're supposed to be doing as parks, and as the county is making sure the community has these types of resources. And I would say we've really succeeded here, and we've succeeded because we've done this hand in hand with the community. Next step, please, or slide, please. So here's kind of a rough schedule of what we're looking at. So we think we're gonna have the final plans, specs, and estimates by the end of March. And we think we can even have our permits and approvals by the end of March. We'll be taking it to the board in April for adoption of the plans, and then we'll go out and we'll advertise the construction contract. We'll award it as quickly as we can. We'll construct it this summer and get it open by the end of summer before the rains, and get people on this track. And we're really, really excited about that possibility. Next slide, please. I'm getting so excited I can't even articulate anymore. The last thing I want to call out is this has really been a partnership. Quarry Park is a county park, and we're taking point on this project, but the Coastside Mountain Bikers and the Granada Community Services District have been a huge support. And unfortunately, I need to change the slide because the Parks Foundation also needs to be on this. The Parks Foundation has secured a grant from REI for funds that we're going to use for construction. The Granada Community Services District has offered up $100,000 that will be used for construction. The Coastside Mountain Bikers have been just playing an instrumental role in the design process, the review process, the community engagement process. And that's what we like to see, is this is truly a community process, truly a community project. And when we set out to do this, I said, we're going to create a project that someone who participated as a kid today is going to be able to look back sometime when they have kids and say, I was part of that process. I helped make that track what it is. And I think we've accomplished that, and that's what we're going to be able to do. So really excited about this. And with that said, that's the presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any public comment?
I do see one hand raised by actually 2, 3, 4. So first we'll call on Chris Johnson. Chris, please accept this invitation and begin speaking.
Great, thank you very much. So just for public disclosure, I am on the San Mateo County Parks Pump Track Committee. So I do have a horse in this race, so to speak, but I want to really speak on higher level topics, and as just a resident of El Granada and a father. And that is the design concept is fantastic. The kids will benefit from it. Kids from 5 to 100 will benefit from it. It will be a great thing for skills and for fitness. But the two topics I wanted to really point out with respect to this project, one is community pride. As I think Nicholas mentioned, this is something that is going to be incredibly important to the people of not only El Granada, but I believe the entire Mid-Coast. It's something special for our community that is made specifically for our community. And it really, I think, can give people a smile to know that they are being listened to and that the county does care and the county wants to bring things to the Mid-Coast that are special. And I think that this is for a public facility for everybody to use, but it's going to be primarily used by people on the coast side. And I think that the people of El Granada, as Nicholas said, will be really proud that it's something that they had a hand in, either physically or by supporting it. That brings me to so just really like when you think of a town square in like whatever vintage image you have in your mind, to me, that's what the pump track will be for the Mid-Coast. The other topic is leadership. And I've mentioned this before, and this does not happen. This does not happen and had not happened until Nicholas Calderon stepped up and made it a priority. And I just really feel like this in Tunitas Beach, I know Tunitas started before Nicholas took over, but I'm pretty darn impressed. And like I said, this project doesn't happen without the type of leadership that Nicholas exhibited, which is visionary, strong, but also open to public comment. And thank you for the time to comment. And thank you so much for this project. And I hope that you will approve this design concept.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. I will now call on Carlisle Ann Young. Please accept this invitation and begin speaking.
Oh, I think that's me, but my name is Marika.
Okay.
I just want to speak on behalf of approving this project. I'm a 21-year resident of the coast. I used to live very close to Quarry Park. I've spent an enormous amount of time there. I now live in Clipper Ridge. I'm a 20-year mountain biker. I spent a lot of time in Quarry Park mountain biking. This to me is, like Chris said, going to be such a source of pride and fun.
Did we lose you?
Hold on, somehow she got muted. Hold on just 1 second.
Oh, hello, can you hear me?
There you are again. Yes, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Long story short, I think this is fantastic. I've been waiting for something like this for many, many years in El Granada. As many people know, the Rick and the Coastside Mountain Bike Coalition have been doing an amazing job making this just a wonderful place to bike. I also want to let you know I'm 51 years old and I will absolutely be spending time on the pump track. It's a great way to stay fit. It's a great way to do something fun that's free, that's enjoyable, that's outside. We are really known as an outdoor destination, and I think that this is absolutely the kind of project that we can be very proud of and feel very good about. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Marika. I will now call on Carlisle Ann Young. Please accept this invitation and begin speaking.
Did it unmute?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, good. Thank you. I wondered, I never saw the unmute button before, and then the other lady started talking, even though you called my name. I just wanted to say that part of the reason that the ad hoc pump track was created by some locals probably was because there's no facilities here for local kids or families. My only concern is that the county demolished it and promised the county approved one, but primarily the funding I saw on the September county budget that they adopted after COVID took a bite out of it in September, that they were taking money from our our mitigation fee trust fund to fund a county park capital improvement project, which is in violation of the specified use of those trust funds. So I definitely propose that you review the county ordinance, which is 4331 2.64.060, and find some other way to fund it if you took that money from our trust funds, because we still need a community center, and that's what they were earmarked for. definitely support the pump track. I think it's going to be a good thing for the community. My issue, I guess, if there was to be one, is that it's open to every single person in the whole county and any visitors from beyond. So if you're taking money from our community parks and community center trust funds, I think you need to put them back and find another way. Thanks.
Thank you.
Oops.
Thank you, Ms. Young. That was our last speaker, Chair Marilees.
Yeah, we'll go to the commission
Sorry.
now.
Actually, I see 2 more hands raised.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I will now call on William. William, please accept this invitation and begin speaking. William?
There we go. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I had to leave for a bit and I just jumped back in after the 2 presentations there for Tanitas and the Pump Creek. I didn't know if there's an opportunity for Director Calderon to address the beach here in Moss Beach, the Seal Cove, Fitzgerald Marine Reserve Beach, and what he needs to reopen the beach. Thank you.
Thank you. I will next call on Fran Pollard. Fran, please accept the invitation and begin speaking.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay, I'm Fran Pollard, again, El Granada. I helped start Quarry Park 25 years ago, and we built the tot lot. My group is Mid-Coast Parklands, and we cleared that land and built the park for the whole community. And I just want to say that I'm not against the pump track. I was against where they were putting it. So I've spoken to all the neighbors. The one thing that's being neglected is the parking. Now, I watched that beautiful segment on Tanitas Creek and lots of parking being added there. And the county has taken over what, 500, 600, 700 acres of land right around here and not improved the parking. We are inundated with traffic all week long and mostly on the weekends. So I'm requesting some parking being taken care of. I know we've talked about it in the past with Nicholas, and that be provided along with this. There's only about 15 parking spaces in the parking lot. And and once that gets filled, it's all over the neighborhood. My street, I'm at the entrance, and there's parking on both sides of the street. They're narrow streets, and people can't even get out of their driveways. So there needs to be one side parking on each street, Columbus and Santa Maria. And one gentleman suggested a 15-mile zone, a speed zone. We need to take care of all of these issues along with building this, because like I said, we're already inundated with traffic now, and this is going to bring a lot more traffic. And please keep it at the far end of the meadow. It's a beautiful green meadow, and it's going to have this big dirt mound on it. And I hope it's at the far end of the meadow and not close to the gate. One of the pictures looked like it's close to the gate, to the entrance, and that would ruin. At least we'll have half the meadow left to look at.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Our last speaker for this item is Rick Barker. Please accept this invitation and begin speaking.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Rick Barker. I am part of Coastside Mountain Bikers and have been working on the coast here to get this facility up and going. I can say it's been quite a challenge, but it's been very rewarding, and I look forward to working with everyone here going forward, and I encourage you to vote for this project. As a father and a neighbor who lives right next to Quarry Park, my young children are not going to be quite as young as they were when we went to the first master plan project, but hopefully they will still be interested in biking when we are finished, as I will be interested in biking still myself. So thank you once again. I thank you for your support.
Thank you. Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That was our last speaker for this item.
So, yeah, let's go to the,
Chair Mirrlees, before you move on to board member comments, I know that there have been a couple of public comments that related to matters that aren't on the agenda, and just to sort of remind the board that the commission, I'm sorry, that those are not matters that you can talk about due to the Brown Act. What you can do is ask staff to respond to those comments offline, but those aren't things that can be discussed during the meeting.
right, and point taken, and we can ask to have those agendized for a future meeting, which I think we will at the end of this meeting. Okay, so would anybody like to speak up?
I think, you know, the excitement around this project is very infectious. Nicholas, I'm very glad that you're excited about it, and I'm very happy about the amount of work that you've done. You put in this, particularly in terms of engaging people and so on and so forth. And I'm particularly pleased with the fact that they had created something to meet a specific need that they had. And the county stepped in and said, okay, you know, you have this need, you know, we can work and make sure we build something that is going to meet all the safety requirements or whatever, all the requirements that need to be met on these kinds of projects. So, you know, I feel very, very happy that the county stepped in, and, you know, the project has my vote. And I do understand that people always have concerns legitimately. I don't think there's any project that any entity has done, you know, that has gotten 100% support. You know, there are always going to be people that are not going to support a project for legitimate reasons. But I do think that the need that is being met by this project is so supreme, I think, that I think we should indeed go ahead with it. And to the extent that we can address some of the issues, you know, pertaining to this project that have been raised, you know, by members of the public, we can certainly attempt to do that. But I'm fully supportive of the project.
Thank you. Who wants to go next? Heather, you're back.
I'm back. Thank you. I didn't get to hear the presentation, but I saw the materials in the pre-briefing or in the meeting materials. I guess my question is just like this project was expedited ahead of the overall master plan project that one of the callers spoke to that started long ago. Can you speak a little bit to, it sounds like it's a real plus that this is moving faster because it's something so desirable, but how do we get our proper process, our standard process to move at a pace that will meet this kind of need in the future without having to create a side process?
Yeah, Commissioner, great question. We have been working really hard recently to really structure these projects and the way they're moving forward. And I think the way we've been looking at how we're going to take the projects that we've prioritized and move them forward is going to allow us to meet the highest priority needs. And there are always going to be projects that people desire that may not be moving forward at the rate they would like. And I think by and large, we do a good job trying to address that. Sometimes we're not able to move as quick as some would like, but I think if we can do a good job at communicating and managing expectations, I think we will be able to avoid having to do these break-off processes and these one-offs like we did for the pump track, like we did for the dog pilot program. But the reality also is we're not always going to be able to prevent that from happening, right? And sometimes it will happen. And I think there are times where the community speaks up in loud numbers and their expectations and their desires become more clear than they have ever been. And I think that's what happened here. With that said, the Midcoast community has heard me say this many a times. We most certainly do not condone going onto public land and building whatever facility or features you want. We don't recommend it. We don't promote it. And we, as we did in this case, we don't allow people to build the track or to use the track that was unauthorized. But when something like this comes up, it's very clear the community is in desire of something that needs to be built. And and I think the last point would be when Granada Community Service District or any partner comes forward with $100,000, that definitely always changes your timeline as well.
Yeah, and I understand and I appreciate and support, the desire to deliver a thing that there's a loud clamor for. Obviously, it sounds like it's going to be, even from the limited public comment I was able to hear. I think there's a lot of appetite here. I guess I would just note, and I believe that the department will do the best that it can to, keep expectations to all of the things that you're saying. I know everybody's working with the best of intentions and to the greatest ability. I just am mindful when you note about, when you hear it loud enough, and when, there's supplementary money, which of course you need money to deliver a project, not crazy. But it just will always come back around that there may be needs where the wheels are not the squeakiest, or where the wheels are not the most comfortable coming forward, in communities that feel marginalized, that don't have time to come to meetings like this, that don't feel comfortable, where English is not so easy. And so, I just really hope that the department finds a way to be proactive, to hear the needs of people who maybe don't have internet access, can't come to this meeting at all, don't want to sit on the phone for 2 hours listening to stuff. There's a whole world, and we know that the needs are greatest in some of these places. So we cannot just rely on public comment to be the only way that we acknowledge where need is greatest. There is need here. I understand that. And I hope that we continue to see that kind of outreach, information gathering, needs gathering, and stuff in communities who are less comfortable tapping into formal processes like this.
Yeah, Commissioner, I hear you loud and clear, and that's a high priority for the department as well. And one of the things we talked about during the last item was how we actually brought back paper surveys, something we hadn't really done in a really long time, so that we can engage with communities who are less comfortable with doing it via Zoom or online surveys. And so for us, what we know is that we have to be open-minded. We have to continue to look at all options and all needs and work to address those. So I hear your concerns and I share your concerns, and we will do everything we can to make sure that we're addressing that.
Thank you. I really appreciate your listening on that. And I know everybody's doing the very best they can. So thanks. I did one of the public speakers, the question about the parking, like what's the deal with the parking?
Yeah, we're actually in the process of expanding the parking lot. So we're gonna expand the parking lot to add more parking. So that's something that's already being taken care of and addressed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Green. Commissioner Laguna?
Yeah, so I guess first and foremost, I mean, I'm really excited about this project, and I think it actually is the first of maybe many steps kind of across the park system to really start to kind of, I guess, modernize the recreation spaces that we have to better suit the needs of how folks are doing recreation moving forward. So I think from that standpoint, the project sounds really exciting, and it's a new adventure, I guess, for the parks system. The one question that I did have though about the pump track is it necessarily is going to, I guess, create a lot of buzz, right? And you know, in addition to the parking, which I think we've already kind of talked about, I know there are a lot of trails around Quarry Park where bikers have always been going and will continue to go, and probably in larger numbers. I guess as part of the plan, have you guys thought a little bit about potentially the increased load on those trails and kind of how we're going to be addressing the potential increased load of bikers that will be coming in and will be drawn by this pump track?
Yeah, Commissioner, great question. So the topic of use of trails and wear and tear of trails is something that was really front and center during the master planning process, and is still built into the master plan. And that's something that we as a department are discussing in as to you know, how do we best utilize our trails and what is the best approach for access to those. We're working on that right now. And actually, as part of the master plan process, a trails assessment was done. So as we bring that master plan process forward, that will help guide and assist us in management of those trails, access and maintenance of those trails, and looking at best uses and authorized uses at our parks.
Great, thank you.
Of course.
Great. Thank you. Commissioner Mana? Sam?
I think in the most unprecedented times that we're in, and we've got to, you know, you've taken our tools away, and now we've got to think outside the toolbox. This project here is unequivocally, like, I think an applaud is not enough for those who have put this together. And I think that we're, you know, I'm a person of faith, and I really think, you know, me the community person, but me the commissioner as well, think we are definitely steered into the right direction. We're gonna emerge out of this, and I think this project right here is by and large one of the better things that I've seen in my 4 years being on this commission.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. And so, yeah, down to me, I want to do this quickly because we're all sitting here a long time. I really appreciate, Nicholas, that you took this on and you listened to the public. There was a lot of public outcry, and yeah, anyway, thank you. And for moving forward quickly during COVID, that was also very difficult. I know everything takes longer than we want it to take. And yeah, our kids are all going to be older by the time this is done. My kids needed a beach access when they were in middle school, and it came when they were in college at Surfers Beach. So anyway, things take too long, but thanks for making this happen in the lifespan of a child. So I can't wait to try it out. I don't have any broken bones right now, so I'm rested and ready, and I can't wait to jump in. So thank you. And if being the last, I guess it's time for a vote. Do we have a motion that would be to pass this on to the Board of Supervisors?
Move to recommend, move to the Board of Supervisors with a positive recommendation.
Do we have a second?
I second it.
Can we take a vote?
Sure. Commissioner Laguna,
Aye.
Commissioner Green,
Aye.
Commissioner Okello, Commissioner Manning,
Yes. Aye.
Commissioner Okello.
Already said aye.
Thank you very much. Okay.
Commissioner Marilees?
Chair Marilees.
Uh,
Motion passes.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, great. That passed. Now we move to item 7.4, fiscal year budget presentation.
So Chair, I hate to say that I do have another obligation at 6 o'clock. So at exactly 6, I'm gonna be leaving, so, but I did want to say a couple of things relating to commission reports. You know, and I don't know whether I should say them now before I leave, or I should just communicate directly with staff on them.
How long is your budget presentation, Nicholas?
Well, I can do it as quickly as, 5 minutes or so, but I think it's an important topic. So I think it warrants an appropriate and thorough presentation.
Okay.
To do it properly, it would take more than that.
Okay.
But I'm happy to connect with Commissioner Okello offline to discuss any matters you'd like to do so.
Okay, why don't we do it that way?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Nicholas.
Thank you. Commissioners, I'll be just running you through a brief presentation regarding our upcoming budget cycle, fiscal year 21, 22, 22, 23. At the county, we do a 2-year budget cycle. And so that's how we view and we plan for the budget. Janet, next slide, please. So as a reminder, the department manages 23 parks and recreation areas throughout the county. And to manage these 23 parks and recreation areas, that requires maintenance of our trails, our facilities, our parking lots, our drive aisles, all of our infrastructure, restrooms, all of that. And so when we build a budget, we first have to look at what type of work needs to be done to our existing infrastructure, and it can be broken, and also what work needs to be done to our natural resources. And so that could come in the form of habitat restoration, fuel reduction, eradication of invasive species. And so when we build our budget, we have to look across the park system at what our highest priorities are, what our highest priorities are going to be, and how do we set up a process to properly accomplish that. Next slide, please. So this is a schedule of our budget process. You'll see that the next step is a presentation to the Board of Supervisors on our wildfire fuel management program. So the department, as a result of the CZU fire, created a new wildfire fuel management program, and that allows us to both plan for financial and staff resources necessary to reduce wildfire fuel risks, to manage these projects, and to really ensure that we are doing everything we can to keep the public safe and preserving our land. And so that's a presentation where we'll be speaking with the board about what is the future of the department's fuel management and fuel reduction efforts. It's unclear what outcomes will come from that meeting, but it'll undoubtedly likely impact our budget in a way. And so we will need to make sure that whatever comes out of that gets built into the department's budget. But you'll see that over the next couple of months, we'll be meeting with the board and the county manager's office to finalize figures and understand how much we have to maintain our facilities and upgrade our facilities. Next slide, please. As a reminder, during the last meeting, we talked about, last summer, I'm sorry, we talked about our strategic priorities, and we break our obligations down into three, and our priorities into three categories: visitor services, infrastructure and facilities, and natural resource management. And because we look at our strategic priorities that way, that's also how we break out our budget. And so as we discuss budget, that's how we will always be looking at it, is through that lens. Next slide, please. So this is an org chart of the department, and you can see how we're approximately set up here. And right now we do have several vacancies, including 7 ranger positions that are vacant, an assistant director position that is vacant, an executive secretary position that's vacant. And so what that really means is that the department is pulling overtime to make sure that we're properly maintaining and managing our resources and our facilities and doing the best we can. And might I say, I think doing a wonderful job at keeping our parks healthy, safe, and clean. And I think now is really an important time to call out the work that the staff for the department do. Our rangers work, day in and day out to maintain our parks, and Scott does an amazing job leading them. And Rolando running our fiscal services, fiscal and admin services, and Hannah Ormshaw with our natural resource team, and Carla Schoof running our communication team. And you heard from Mario Nastari earlier, and there's so many more that really do an amazing job day in and day out to make sure the public has the park system that they have. And they deserve, credit every day for what they do. So looking at our starting point for our budget or our base, it comes out to approximately 21.3 million. That drops to about 19.7 if you pull out the marina. Reason I say that is the Coyote Point Marina, which is part of the Parks Department, is an enterprise fund. So it receives no net county cost and is financially reliant on its own services and fees. But when you look at our operations and maintenance, which are our rangers, and our natural resource management, which is our natural resource management team, fiscal and admin, visitor services and planning, when you look at all of that staff and those baseline costs, it's about $19.7 million. And that's what's necessary to keep the department running and keep our staffing in place so we can continue to improve our facilities, to manage our resources, and make sure the public has access to our parks. Next slide, please. So that's our starting point. We're going to look at our base, and that, as I said, that's that 19.7 figure. And then we have to look at our capital projects. And I break capital projects into two categories. There's the ongoing and there's the new. The ongoing includes Tunitas Creek Beach, which you heard today, the Quarry Park Pump Track, the Eastern Promenade project at Coyote Point, which we're just getting ready to select a contractor on, and we'll be breaking ground on that shortly and finishing early 2022, which is going to be just such an amazing part of Coyote Point. We have the Flood Park project, which you all are all familiar with. And then the bottom right is Memorial Park. It's one of the new restroom shower buildings at Memorial Park, which is just an amazing project. And I cannot wait for the commission to see more of it. And I cannot wait for that park to reopen for the public. But so the reason I highlight this is because these are funds that get carried over year, and we need to make sure that we are completing these projects, and they take a very high priority. They take a high spot on our priority list. So that then gets factored into that 19.7 figure. Next slide, please. And then we have our capital improvement projects, which for our most recent submittal totals about $11 million, 11.1. And these are projects that we need to, that we've identified as necessary. And so at the county, the way we do this is you submit a project to the county's capital improvement program, and it goes through a review process that's led by the Department of Public Works and our budget office. And they identify what projects will make it into the final program to make sure that there are appropriate funds and resources to advance those projects. So what that means is we submitted 11.1 million, but we most certainly will not be getting 11.1 million for the next budget cycle for these projects. And so what we've done is, as you submit these projects, you rank them in importance of priority. But what I want to call the commission's attention to, because this is something you'll hear me talk about for a very long time, and that is that, first, I apologize, I just noticed that the first three projects are all 1.5 million, just for clarification. But we have a lot of deferred maintenance that we need to take care of. And when facilities get old and they're obsolete, it becomes more expensive because you're not repairing them. You're now just conducting comprehensive replacements. And that's where we are for a lot of our facilities. And so for us, that's what we're really focusing on. And that's why those first three projects are really comprehensive overhauls of infrastructure. And And we have a couple other projects like the Wonder Lake Park parking lot, which is necessary to improve our facilities and access. And so it's where we really, that is where we're really trying to focus our effort, is bringing our infrastructure to the condition that it needs to be. So you take that, so, you know, as we're developing our budget, we take that 19.7 figure, then we roll over our ongoing capital project costs. Now we add in whatever the county manager's office accepts for the CIP program. Next slide, please. And then the last component of it is going to be our fuel reduction. And so what you see here, you see the orange here, and these are the proposed project areas. If you go to the next slide, please, Janet, what you'll see is a list of the projects. That's 32 projects that we've identified as the #1 most important fuel reduction projects in our system. This isn't even the entirety of the work that needs to be done. This is just that top tier from an importance perspective. And this is what we'll be discussing with the board on the 23rd of this month. So after we talk with the board and we understand what their expectations are, that will give us a final sense of how much we have to conduct these projects, and that will end up getting us to that final budget figure. Next slide, please. So again, this is the schedule that we're working within. We are right before the February 23rd, 2021 presentation to the board, and we will have a better sense after our March meeting with the county manager's office on March 8th. We'll have a much better sense of what our budget is going to look like and what type of funds we're going to have access to. With that said, I am happy to answer any questions that that may come up or that the commission may have.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
I do see one hand raised for public comment.
Okay.
That would be Carlisle and Young. Ms. Young, please accept this invitation and begin speaking.
I didn't see anything on there about the Mid-Coast Community Center or acquisition of parklands that mitigation fee is going towards. So is that going to be part of your budget by the time you present it to the county manager's office, Nicholas?
Craig, can you provide guidance on this? Are we?
What?
I'm sorry, Nicholas, I don't understand what you're asking.
So can we have a back and forth?
The agenda item is an informational item about the budget. If staff wants to, if the commission wants to direct you to respond to the speaker offline, that's appropriate, but not during the meeting, I don't think.
Thank you.
Nicholas, can you call me then? I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, do you have the number?
I do. I just won't say it out loud over the internet.
Yeah, fine. No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Young. I do see, let's see, I don't see any other hands raised, but I want to remind everybody, if you are on the line and you want to speak, please go ahead and if you're dialing in by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. And I do not see any hands raised, Chair. Oh, wait, just one more. I would like to call on William. William, please accept this invitation, unmute your microphone and begin speaking.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
If Mr. Calderon can address my issues, that would be great. If he doesn't intend to, I'll just log off. If he could communicate with me in another forum, that would be fine as well. But I would like to communicate about the Moss Beach. Thank you.
Sir, I'm happy to talk with you offline, as I will with Ms. Young. So if you'd like to talk offline, we can do so.
Thank you.
And William, look at our next agenda coming up. That may be on our next agenda.
Oh, okay. I'll stick around then.
Well, no, for the next meeting. We can't discuss it this meeting, but we're going to put it on for our next meeting.
Oh, lovely. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, William. Chair Marilis, that's our last hand raised for this item.
Okay, commissioners, who do we have left here? Heather, do you want to start first?
Well, like I have a lot of questions usually. Uh, Thank you. Thank you, Director Calderon, for doing that presentation and for fitting it in to the agenda of our meeting in a way that makes this conversation at least somewhat timely. I think actually pretty timely. We have a few weeks, and I saw it was really helpful to have the timeline of next steps and how this budget is going to proceed. So I just really appreciate the opportunity to have this discussion, because I think, as I've said before at this body, but for Commissioner Laguna's benefit, I guess, that I believe that this budget, our budget is our most important policy document. It dictates what we are and aren't able to do in a very important way. So thank you. And thank you to all the staff who supported and all the staff who do all of the work that we are able to fund. It's amazing how much you're able to do with the org chart that you have and the bottom line that you have. Few questions. When you're looking, and this may be more for budget staff, but like looking at where we were in the last 2-year budget to our bottom line in the coming 2-year budget, like, are we looking at a net decrease, staying the same, net increase?
At this time, based on the information we've been at this time, based on the information we've been provided, it looks like it's going to be about the same. So no, we're not more, but we're not being asked to cut more.
Are you being asked to deliver cut like priority cuts, or like places you would cut if you need to?
As like an exercise?
Yeah.
We haven't been asked to do so at this time.
Okay, that's good. Glad to hear that. And you're still carrying those vacancies throughout the organization?
We are carrying them as of right now. We, staffing shortages as of right now between vacancies and injuries and staff being assigned COVID tracing. We are about 14, 16 rangers down. We're about 30% low on our field staff levels. So we will need to be filling those in order to start returning some of our services. But we're having those conversations with the county manager's office.
Okay, yeah, that's okay. Is there still a general hiring freeze right now?
Yes, there is.
Okay, so I guess, my comment then, as this goes forward for that fuel reduction presentation is just, if we are going to need staff and staff participates in fuel reduction, to acknowledge if that's a priority, then so should be the hiring, so that we don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree with you more.
And, I think one thing that this commission can hopefully do is, at that meeting, I know I'm going to try to attend if I can and offer comment. So, I hope those kinds of comments would be helpful, just as member of the public. If not, if there's, or if it'd be helpful to work into the presentation, also, happy to do that. We can talk about that offline. But I think, it's important that they understand that, like, the work doesn't come from nowhere. I know you will make that point. Okay, for the CIP, like the CIP projects that you presented, I think Michelle was on for the heart of your presentation. Just, are you communicating those to the foundation? Because those are one-time projects they could fundraise for.
We are.
I know
Yeah.
they're not glitzy, but okay.
Yeah, no, Michelle and I talk twice a month, and we talk about the status of our projects. We also talk about some of the projects as we prepare for the budget and we prepare our work plans. We undoubtedly had to cut projects off of them due to resource constraints. And so we bring those to Michelle and the foundation, as well as other ideas for larger projects that they can most certainly assist with the fundraising for. So yeah, we're having those conversations on a regular basis.
Great, thank you. And then that fuel reduction universe of projects you showed, is there, the bottom line, like how much does that cost? Those 32?
If we were to hire contractors to do all the work, which includes both treatment and retreatment, we're looking at approximately $27.4 million over a period.
It's more than your entire annual budget.
If you exclude capital projects, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty high figure, especially looking at the department's overall budget.
Well, I hope the board has something clever up their sleeve.
It's a long road ahead of us, but I'm happy to say that we have a phenomenal board and county manager who are always supportive. So really looking forward to that presentation.
Yes, I hope they appreciate the lift ahead. Related, we had talked at an earlier meeting about the corrections labor that is used sometimes for this. It was not used this year, combination of didn't want to do it and also COVID, right? Like made it kind of not a non-issue. Going forward, we had drafted a letter that we never did send to the board about like why we as a commission were not supportive of pursuing that route. When you talk to them on the 23rd, will you be highlighting that as an option, or like wait for questions about it, you think?
Yeah, I'm going to wait for questions about it. However, I do think that given so that list of 32 projects, the 27.4 also totals about 1,800 acres of, given where we are, I don't think we're in a position to take tools out of the toolbox. So I'm not quite sure that we can continue to not utilize that resource and complete the amount of fuel reduction and work that needs to be done in order to responsibly manage our parks and protect public safety.
Oh, I hear that. And I would just say in response that there's like never a convenient time to have to pay more than you absolutely have to for such a thing like labor. However, unpaid heavy labor does not seem to me to be in alignment with the values of our community. I know we need to do what we need to do, but there's another way to do it, which is to spend more money to do it, which I recognize should not come. Obviously, you can't carve $27 million out of 19.7. I'm not saying it should come from the Parks Department. I'm saying the board should understand that it's a choice between unpaid labor, effective contemporary slavery, and paying for work. So I hope that that message can come through, and that's something I would also put forward in comment. Obviously cheaper is better, except when it's somebody's labor. Okay. For the last question I had related to one of Neil's, Chair Miralese's priorities, just we had heard from the ombudsman at an earlier presentation that was specific to fuel reduction, but just like where in the universe of the budget would some kind of like partnership or something with them live? Would that live in the fuel reduction budget or live in the programmatic budget?
Yeah, so that would live in the fuel reduction budget. I would say that aside from the area in Pescadero Creek County impacted by the CZU fire, we don't really have a lot of other parts of our park that are ready to return fire to the landscape in both for both ecological value and fuel reduction. But that is something we do want to do, and we do want to, and we will likely use Pescadero Creek County Park as the first place that we reintroduce fire as a land management tool. And when that time comes, we will most certainly look to partner with Ombudsman, likely also the Ohlone, who are native to San Mateo County, and absolutely CAL FIRE. In fact, I think you have to use CAL FIRE, and we have an amazing relationship with them. So we wouldn't view it as having to; we would view it as getting to. But yeah, it would be a very large partnership in order to do that.
Thank you. That's everything from me.
Commissioner Laguna.
Yeah, so, and maybe this is a little bit of a newbie question, but I mean, given the size of or the amount that needs to be paid in order to do a lot of this fuel reduction, I wanted to ask a little bit about the funding sources, right? I mean, is this really all supposed to come out of the county budget? Are there no like maybe state I guess, funding options or other, I guess, earmarked dollars? Because obviously this is not just a San Mateo County issue. This is kind of a broader California issue. So is the thought that all of this is going to be funded out of, San Mateo County budget and wherever else we can drum up money? Or are there other places that we can reach out for those funds?
Yeah, Commissioner, great question. There are other areas. So we're going to be, of that 1,800 approximately acres, we're going to be doing a 415 acre forest health and fuel reduction project, which will be grant funded from CAL FIRE.
Okay.
We will also be doing, we've also submitted an application for about 400,000 to Cal OES through FEMA, through their hazard mitigation grant program, to do a project at Edgewood. And then we will be submitting in March a second application to do approximately $400,000 worth of fuel reduction work at Junipero Serra Park in San Bruno. So there are grants available out there. They're extremely competitive.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And so from a planning perspective, we will always go after the grants to the extent that we can. But we always also have to assume that to a degree we'll be shouldering the burden of those costs. And I will just say quickly that for that hazard mitigation grant program, where we're submitting an application for both JSP, Junipero Serra Park, and Edgewood, we also asked to submit, you have to submit a notice of interest, and we submitted 4 notice of interest, which included one for Quarry and one for San Bruno Mountain, but those 2 were declined. So we were only asked essentially to submit 2 applications instead of 4.
Got it. Okay. Good. The other question I had, and this is more of a general question, I'm sure it's been asked before, is overall prioritization of projects. And I know we're still waiting on kind of the broader budget, but obviously there's a lot of stuff in there. I mean, even with, and I'm sure a lot ended up on the cutting room floor too, right? I guess what's the approach that you guys use for prioritizing these? I get the 3 pillars, right? And then, within those, you'll kind of figure out how you go about doing it. But do you guys have I'm assuming you do, right, a system for how you prioritize that spend and when you're putting those recommendations up?
Yeah, so I would say when you look at our big ticket items or our high priority items, some of them come from our board or our county manager's office, and some of them are selected internally. Obviously the ones selected by the board and the county manager's office, we make sure at the top of the list. Flood Park is a great example. That was really started by Supervisor Warren Slocum. Tunitas Creek Beach was really started by Supervisor Horsley. Just some examples. And then we look at what is the condition of our facilities and how does it allow us to provide the best services possible. And so when our infrastructure and our facilities are no longer allowing us to provide the services that we want, that's when it gets flagged as a priority. Great example is the restrooms and shower buildings at Memorial Park.
Oh, yes. Yep.
They were not allowing us to provide the services that we wanted to, and so they went at the top of the list. Some of the projects that you will have seen on that CIP list were the water distribution and wastewater collection system at Coyote Point. Those facilities are aging and require upgrade and repair because sometimes we're having to close restrooms. Because maybe there's a break in the water distribution or the wastewater collection system. So now we're not providing the services that we want. And then the last thing is efficiency in how we operate, operational efficiencies. So Superintendent Lombardi is overseeing a project that will upgrade the water distribution system at Memorial Park. Why is that so important? Well, 2 reasons. One, we're unnecessarily pulling some water that we probably don't need to because of a break in the system. But the other reason is because right now when there's a break in the system, we don't know where it is. So staff is having to run throughout the park looking for a wet spot in the road. That time could be spent providing direct visitor services or fuel reduction services. And so those are really the 3 ways that we look at that. And we prioritize those. And then the last one obviously is public safety. and health and safety. And if there's something in our park that is providing a risk or threat to public safety or health and safety, that obviously gets put at the top of the list as well. So that's really a long-winded answer, and I apologize for that. I
No,
thought
that was helpful. That
I
was helpful.
started, but yeah.
Commissioner Manna?
You know, some of, and you know what? I didn't get an opportunity to welcome Commissioner Laguna. Welcome to this great commission, and even through pandemic, we'll all emerge out of this and look forward to working with a great appointee, I'm sure, from the Dave Pines district. So welcome, Commissioner Laguna, to this great Parks Commission. I guess what I want to ask Nick is given the money or monetary sort of, does the number add up to where when you guys thought this out, and when you come to an agreement, do you think that more should have been given to parks, or is there sort of an assessment that the county comes to, let's say, agreement saying, parks, you are to be allotted this much money, and then you know what areas need improving and what areas you can save from and what areas need more attention?
Yeah, Commissioner, it was a little hard to hear you, but I think I got the general sentiment of the question. You know, we're that baseline information or that baseline number, that 19.7 figure, that's kind of like, that's the base of what we get. And then anything on top of that, you know, over time, the board may add funds for, you know, the boards add funds for playgrounds. The board has added funds for equipment. The board has added funds for fuel reduction. And so over time that gets added in. And then if we want to do a large scale project, great example would be, once again, the restrooms and shower buildings at Memorial Park, right? Then you have to make a special request for that. Overall, I think that the board and the county managers have been, very supportive of parks and very generous with Measure K allocations and some of our other funding sources. And so I always feel supported from our board and from our county manager, and always feel like they're there to assist when necessary.
And Neil and Nick, I guess, and Chair Meredith, with the gyms being closed, I am ever so grateful, and as I'm in District 5 in San Mateo County, I'm about, say, roughly 10 minutes away from the San Andreas Trail. So I would probably say I do that trail maybe at least once a week, and that, I must say, the rangers are always on top of things. I mean, they're looking at each way to make sure that park and probably other parks in that district are well beautified. I mean, I can't say that this park needs attention. You know, the bathrooms are clean and tidy. It's a very popular area to jog, to walk. It's about it depends on where you are, whether you're going to go to San Bruno or Millbrae. It runs a course of about 4.5 miles, depending where you leave your car. But this, I don't know if Director Calderon, if you've had a chance to walk or hike that San Andreas Trail, but I think it's a lifesaver for me. That's kind of helped me, you know, stay sane and, you know, try to still get my exercise. But I mean, what about the other parks? I mean, are they on a to-do list of, like, I listed San Andreas Trail as a well upkeep. What about the other parks? I mean, how are they in terms of the general public, or if other commissioners have gone to other parks and seen, wow, this is very, very well maintained.
Yeah, briefly, I would say all of our parks are as well maintained as that. And I think it comes from the fact that our staff, look, the Rangers really take their job serious, and it's because they love the parks. They love our visitors. They understand the importance of their role. And I think, and they work hard every day. And I think a lot of that comes from the values that that are instilled in them by Scott, and who's the head ranger, and he does an amazing job making sure that staff has the guidance they need and the support they need, and the staff day in and day out in the field know what needs to get done. And so if you go to any of our parks, you will see that the trails are well maintained. You will see that they're doing an amazing job keeping it clean. And working to remediate any hazard trees or anything like that. So if you go to Junipero Serra Park, or you go to San Bruno Mountain, or you go down to Edgewood, or you go out to Quarry or Pillar Point Bluff, or down to Sam McDonald, you're gonna find a beautiful, well-maintained, well-protected park.
Okay, it's me. Yeah, Nicholas, I don't know what to do about the management of the wildfire hazard. Yeah, it's gonna be ongoing, not just for San Mateo County, but all of California. And it's ridiculously expensive to hire contractors to come in and trim trees. I know that. So yeah, I don't have a, you're gonna have to be really creative. But I wanted, while we're talking about why the parks are in such good shape, I just wanted to do a shout out to the Board of Supervisors too. They've been really good at providing money when things have started to go south a little bit, and they realize that parks are a priority for them. And we couldn't be luckier in that regard. So hopefully everything will come out all right with the fuel reduction too.
But Neil, if I'm or Commissioner Chair Merrilees, I'm sorry, Chair Merrilees, if I may, really quickly, and this kind of goes to Commissioner Laguna's point as well. When we set that 32 project list out, those projects went through a 14 criteria or metric evaluation process that allowed us to score projects based on priority, proximity to homes, proximity to evacuation routes, ecological benefit, permitting requirements, cost, size of the project, who'd be implementing. All 14 different metrics were used to measure and prioritize those projects, and that's the type of, I think that's the type of creativity and problem solving that is going to get us through this problem, and allow us to prioritize the most important projects first and foremost. And that's going to help us when we go to the board, be able to inform the board so they can make the most informed decision they can have. So that's the type of stuff that we're using to get ourselves out of this problem. It's going to take time, it's going to take money, but I think as long as our decision making is grounded in truth and data, I think we're on the right track.
Great, thank you. Okay. I think we're at item 8, which is commissioner reports. Does anybody want to make a report?
I can go. I'm excited for you to be chair there, Chair Merrilees. It was a wonderful year. I enjoyed very much. I'm sure you will do an even more amazing job. Just to pick up Commissioner Okello's point, I would be happy to deliver commission update from that kind of perspective of outgoing chair. Would be happy to work on it with you, Neil, if you want, or just pull it together, whatever you prefer. But Nicholas, I think we need a little help with the calendaring request. Obviously, I'm sure the board is super busy, so just need to find a slot there. So
Supervisor Pine said it well. He said,
anytime, but
whenever you like
I'm sure there are limits.
I can work with you.
Okay, that sounds fine. So, I'm happy to pull together a PowerPoint for to represent the work that we ran through in the last year plus or so, and represent all of our great efforts. And hopefully that will, well, our great efforts as a commission, your great efforts as a department, and hopefully that can become a more frequent thing than however long it's been. I guess I will also just note, I believe one of the great joys and responsibilities of being chair is our work plan. So there's a hard copy of that attached to the agenda there. I am happy to support, as you may want to recalibrate that and update it for the year to come. But it actually held up pretty well considering we had a pandemic. I think we covered a lot of the topics we intended to. I think we've done less is the subcommittee type work, but Neil, you've really done an outstanding job, especially like being part of the planning for so much happening out at the coast, certainly. And so, maybe it would be helpful for Nicholas, for the department to kind of flag opportunities like that for us to plug in and kind of appoint self-appoint a person to participate, because I do really think that's valuable for us as a body to have someone who's been in the trenches with everyone. That's it.
Good. Well, thank you, Heather. Yeah, I hope I do as good a job, or at least close enough. Yeah, I probably won't do as good a job, but thank you. Anybody else?
Neil, Commissioner Monet here. I've always seen and looked to you as sort of the veteran, sort of the manager in the clubhouse on the baseball team, and you pick your lineups, and you're that elder statesman that always is very calm and is very approachable, and you are and you've always come with a great abundance of knowledge, whether it's from the coast to the dog commission to all the different projects. So I applaud you, and I hope and pray in the very near future that I'm hoping, I don't know if this is out of the breeze, but I'm hoping April. I really hope April, because that's the start of the spring, or we're first month in the spring, that we can rejoin again. That's not out of my hands, but I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody again. So congratulations, and I wish you the best in this 2021 term.
Yeah, thank you. If there are no more commissioner reports, why don't we go? There are a few things that came up in this meeting that we might want to agendize in the future. And I wrote down a few. If anybody else has any too, we could talk about those. But why don't I just start with reopening plans for the parks, how that's going to happen, what we need to make that happen, if there's anything the Parks Commission can do to help with that. If there's some kind of metric that we can reach. So I think that would be good to discuss. It seems like there was some interest in that from the community. I get asked all the time, when is the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve going to open? And I don't know what to say, but maybe we should have that discussion in public. And then the other one is the Parks Mitigation Fund. I kind of know about that fund, and I think I know about how much is in it, and I don't think it will take very long to discuss, but that could be a very quick agenda item. The issue for ongoing, I'd love to try to get together with any Ohlone community that is interested, kind of on an ongoing basis. We have things come up all the time, signs that talk about history, and they were the stewards of this land long ago, and this is the last remaining public land in San Mateo County, which it was kind of public when they owned it. Anyway, I thought that would be interesting. In terms of inclusion and making sure that everybody has a chance to go to our parks, that's so important. And a subtopic in that agenda item could be whether there's enough parking. You know, we're getting gazillions of people coming to the coast, and people need to get out of their house, you know, when you know, sitting in their COVID dens all day long. And when the weather gets nice, they all come to the coast, which you can totally understand. And so like Tunitas, 60 parking spaces, is that going to be enough? And what happens when it's not? Tunitas is remote, so there aren't like residents that live nearby that have special access. But in some places, like Fitzgerald Marine Reserve, the neighbors have a special access that visitors don't have. So it's even more important to take that into consideration and make sure we are providing enough parking and some sort of access to people to use the resources that they're paying for in terms of maintenance and upkeep and purchase. Yeah, that equity issues with maybe a subset on parking and a bunch of other stuff too. But and sometime this year, I think it would be nice to have the discussion on prison labor. I did a little research on that, and I came back a little bit mixed up about it. I wasn't sure. But I think we could talk to some people and maybe even have a presentation on whether it's beneficial or whether it's slavery. And, you know, San Mateo County is kind of on the cutting edge for a lot of things. We're in the Bay Area and we have, you know, a lot of resources. Maybe that would be kind of an interesting discussion to have at our local Parks Commission. So those are the things that came up for me that we might want to agendize that people are kind of asking about. Does anybody have anything else?
I just want to second, I think it would be really good and timely. It seems like the reopening questions and the access questions about like together for April would be nice to hear soon. We've been talking about that for a while, I feel like, and it would be nice to do that. And I guess I would request if there's any major news about the budget in the wake of the 223 hearing or your county manager meetings in March, it'd be nice to hear an update.
Yeah, I would second that. I think the budget's going to be a big one. The other one, of course, coming from the Parks Foundation would also be, and it's tied to the budget or maybe on the heels of the budget. It would be interesting to figure out, and I know Nicholas, you talk a lot with Michelle and you work with her very closely, but I know one of the things coming from the other side was that we didn't always have like as good of a connection in terms of how we could work with, or how the parks department can work with the Parks Foundation to make sure all of the needs are kind of taken care of and that everyone's kind of aligned. So I think, and once again, I've had some decent visibility on it in my prior role, but I think that might be a good kind of follow on to some of the budget discussions. And Nicholas, I know you actually spend time with Michelle to do that, but I think it might be good to kind of hear how we might be able to strengthen that relationship even more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Sam, are you there?
I'm here.
Did you have any ideas about what you'd like to see on the agenda coming up this year?
I think first and foremost is ideas on how we emerge from COVID, what it is that we're looking, all the exciting things that we had planned to do prior to COVID hitting. This is being year number 2. I'm pretty confident that we will emerge out of it, maybe possibly the summer. I'm not sure how the new norm is going to be, whether we're going to have Coyote Nights again, whether we're going to have the Coyote Points kite events again, if we're gonna have events at the captain's house, or all those wonderful things that we had planned and Commissioner Green had also envisioned. Are those going to be on tap? I mean, are we going to be, potentially, is it going to be something we ponder, or all the great guest speakers that we had? And I guess that that's predicated upon whether or not we're going to have open public meetings again.
So I guess if we don't emerge from COVID by our next meeting, then it might be nice to have a discussion on how we emerge, or yeah, the plan, slowly or quickly, or
Yeah, slowly, baby steps.
Yeah.
Or possibly a welcome back. That's one thing I'd like to see. Maybe we have a small gathering, welcome back San Mateo Parks Commission, distinguished guests, if we have a small, close knit, and by that time everyone's vaccinated, and hopefully it's the summer, maybe we have a welcome back reception. I mean, that's something I'm a big fan of those things.
yeah, or if things get worse, maybe we need to get some Parks printed face masks. And
I was gonna,
That's the
yeah,
spirit.
why can't we have, maybe we can ask Director Calderon, can we get a county parks mask?
We can absolutely get you some of those.
do we have a Parks swag store that people could order those?
Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, that might be
I should have knowledge on. So no, we do not.
The topic. Parks hats, Parks masks, face shields.
Yeah, I don't think we have it to be purchased online. But let us talk about that internally.
Yeah, then we can talk about that at the commission in another meeting. Yeah, that'd be fun. You can raise some money. Go viral. Okay, so I think we've done it today, and I think we're gonna adjourn. I don't think we don't have to make a motion and vote on adjourning, right? Did we decide that?
That's correct. You do not need to move to adjourn.
You just get to do it.
Then hereby we are adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.